Hello guys, what's up? This is Ismail Kalino again. So today's series of vector-borne disease will be looking at malaria. So we all know about this disease, that we all know about that this disease is caused by the beating of a female infected Anopheles mosquito. So today we'll be focusing on the parasite life cycle. So let's get underway. Okay, so before we get into the many life cycle of this parasite, so what is most important is to know the cause, which is the etiology. Okay, so the etiology of this disease. So we are aware that this disease is caused by the beating of a female mosquito. So this female mosquito, known as the Anopheles mosquito, it has first to be infected with this parasite. Now, what is the name of this parasite? So this parasite is known as the Plasmodium. So this is the parasite that will affect or infect the mosquito, and when the mosquito bites maybe a human being or any other mammal, then the mammal gets the disease known as malaria. So among the species of Plasmodium are Plasmodium falciparum, there is Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium ovale, and also Plasmodium malaria as the common one. So these are the four common species of the Plasmodium. Now, so coming from down, okay, so the disease becomes rare and mild. So meaning what happens on top here? So from Plasmodium falciparum, so the disease is common, okay, and severe. So as we are coming down, the disease becomes rare and mild. So these are just different species of the Plasmodium parasite. Now let's get down into what is the purpose of this video. It is to explain the life cycle of the Plasmodium. Okay, so what you are seeing here, okay, it's just something that I've put up, or maybe to show the simple life cycle of the malaria parasite known as the Plasmodium. So I'll try my level best to break it down into terms that you and I can understand and remember, for the sake of the exam and for the sake of knowledge. So we all aware that the transmission of malaria is by inoculation, and when we say inoculation, we simply mean, okay, the biting of infected blood-feeding female Anopheles mosquito, which then transfer these Plasmodium parasites from human to human. So inoculation occurs, okay, so by this infected female mosquito. So before I forget, there are terms that I would like maybe you and I to be aware of as I'll be explaining this life cycle. So there is a host, okay, and there is a vector. So we know that a vector, okay, is so a vector is an organism, okay, that transmits a disease pathogen, and a host rather is also an organism that is affected by a host is an organism that is affected by this disease pathogen, but mainly I want to focus on the host. So there are two types of host. There is definitive host, okay, and there's what we call intermediate host. So what is the difference between these two? So is that definitive host, this is where a parasite, okay, is gonna go a mature sexual stage, okay, inside its host. So in this example, the mosquito, it is the definitive host, whereas maybe human beings are intermediate host. Now we are going to understand these terms as we break it down in the life cycle of this parasite. So as earlier said that there will be inoculation, meaning the beating of a mosquito. Now female and male malaria gemetocytes, okay, they are ingested by the female mosquito during the blood meal, and then they are and then passes to the mosquito's stomach, where they undergo the cyclic development that includes a sexual cycle termed as sporogon. Now the first stage here we're trying to say there will be what is called gametocytes. So these are just sex cells for these Plasmodium parasite. So the female and male gemetocytes, they meet. They are ingested by the female mosquito during blood meal. So then sorry. Okay, so there will be gametocytes, okay, ingested by this female Anopheles mosquito, which are then passed to the stomach of this mosquito, where now they will undergo what is known as a sexual cycle development, which is known as sporo, okay, which is known as sporogon. So when these sporogon, or maybe when this stage occurs, meaning that when the mosquito has ingested the malaria parasites, only these gametocytes survives. The rest of the mosquito blood forms, I mean the rest of the parasites are digested because they are asexual forms and they are destroyed. Now when this now starts to happening, which is the sexual cycle, when it starts happening, what happens? There will be the meeting of these sex cells, the female and the male gametocytes. So before this happens, like the meeting, what happens first? So there's a process which is called exflagellation. So exflagellation will happen. So how does this exflagellation occurs? So this is where the male gametocytes, which are called microgametocytes because they are very small, okay, they extrude a flagella. So they will have a flagella, so a tail-like. So a flagella is a tail-like, which will make this sex cells to swim. When the process of flagellation occurs, meaning that the male gametocyte now it has a tail and it can swim. So we all know that when it swims, what next? It is heading to meet the female gametocyte. In this case, which are called microgametocytes, okay, because we know that they are called micro because the female sex cells they are big or large compared to the male sex cells, which are microcells. So now the process of fertilization now occurs. So now there's the swimming of this male sex cells, which is the microgametocytes, which has now have the flagella, the tail, and now it goes and it meets the female. So when the meeting happens, what next is fertilization will occur. When fertilization occurs, then a zygote is formed. Now, is this zygote that is now called, this zygote now, it is going to be formed, and when it has been formed, it is going to elongate, and it is going to become an okinete, as double O. So it is going to become as the okinete. Okay, so when now it has become an okinete, it is this okinete that now it is going to penetrate it is going to penetrate the wall of the mosquito, meaning the cell wall of the mosquito and of the stomach, and it is going to reach its outer membrane, where now it becomes a spherical shape like, and it develops into something which is called osts. So before this, let me just try to repeat what I've said. So when fertilization occurs, a zygote is formed, and when this zygote stretches itself, it becomes an okinete. So when now it has become an okinete, it has got now the ability to penetrate. So there's penetration here. So there's penetration. So then when it penetrates, meaning it is penetrating outside the stomach of a mosquito. Okay, so it penetrates outside the mosquito, so it is now going to have a different shape, and this shape is a spherical like shape. So then it will now develop into what is called the osts. So like this, ost. So it is now going to develop into an ost. It is this host that now, since it is now a cell and it has a nucleus. So we know a zygote, from the zygote there, which is an okinete penetration, then an host. Now, so its nucleus, meaning the host nucleus, what happens is it is going to divide. So the nucleus is going to divide repeatedly into numerous spindle shaped, and it is these spindle shapes now that we call sporozoids. So now when the division of the nucleus of an host happens, so let me just indicate to you so that, so there's division, so division of the nucleus. So there's division of a nucleus, then it becomes into spindle shape, then it forms what is called the sporozoids. So what next is going to happen to these sporozoids? So they won't just stay anywhere, so they'll be now released into the hemocoil of the mosquito. So these sporozoites now they are released. Okay, pardon me with that spelling. So the sporozoites now they are released into the hemocoel of the mosquito, then meaning that now it is from this side now that these now sporozoites they'll be carried in the insect's hemolymph to all the parts of the body. Okay, so from the hemocoel now they will go to the uh, hemolymph of the mosquito. So when they are carried to the hemolymph of the mosquito now, they will go to the whole body of the mosquito. Okay, so everything we've discussed here, they are happening in the body of a mosquito. So this is the sexual development of these parasites in the body of a mosquito. And this is why we're saying this mosquito is a definitive host, because this parasite it is undergoing its sexual mature stage. Okay, so as now these sporozoids they are taken to the hemolymph and all parts of the body, what happens again? Penetration will occur. Okay, so again there is the issue of penetration. So where now? To where? So they will go to the salivary. They'll go to the salivary gland or glands of the mosquito. Now you can connect. By now you know where now we are heading to. So from the hemolymph and all the parts of the body of the mosquito, now some of these sporozoids now they will penetrate and escape the hemolymph and they will go to the salivary gland of the mosquito. So now it is at this stage, now that these sporozoids they are now in the salivary gland of the mosquito, so meaning that the next time they are going to bite or take a blood meal, they have that potential to transmit or inject these sporozoids into a human or into people the next time they will take this blood meal. So here what I can say is there will be inoculation. So inoculation of what? Of sporozoids. Okay. So inoculation of sporozoids happens due to maybe blood take or bite. So if this now mosquito, because at this stage now the mosquito is infective and it can transmit or inject these sporocytes, okay, via inoculation. So the next time they take a blood meal on an animal, or it could be you or whatever, so sorry, not whatever, yes, you know what we say here. So the next time they take a blood meal on any mammal, they have that potential because now they are infective and they can transmit these sporozoids into a human blood system. So when they are inoculated, meaning now they'll be circulating in the blood system of a mammal or a human being. So as they are circulating, some they will go to the portal vein, then from there they will go to the blood, and there they start dividing. So this is one of the earliest of malaria is fever. So then again the next time this mosquito comes and take a blood meal, so it could be the same mosquito or a different mosquito will come and take a blood meal, so they'll find these sporozoids in your blood. So again, meaning that they're going to ingest these sporozoids, and they're going to ingest the sex cells of this of the Plasmodium parasite. So when they inject it again, another sexual development in the body of the mosquito starts, then just like that. So meaning in short, the cycle begins. So this is what it is going to happen, or this is just a basic of what parasite life cycle of malaria, particularly the Plasmodium, looks like. So we said a quick one that the gemetocytes, meaning the female and the male, okay, they are ingested in the body of the mosquito, the stomach of the mosquito. Then they'll do what is known as porogon. So this is just whereby they'll start now undergoing the sexual cycle. Then this is now where the male gametocyte, it will obtain a flagella. Then meaning the process of flagellations occurs now. This now male sex cells, it is ready to swim and meeting the female, which is the microgamete now, and fertilization occurs. And when fertilization occurs, what forms first is the zygote, and it is this zygote now that is going to stretch itself and becomes an occunate. So when it becomes an occunate, it is now this occunate that now it is going to come out from the stomach of the mosquito. It will penetrate outside the stomach of the mosquito, and it will go and become an os. Now when it becomes an os, it changes its shape. It becomes something like